the IDF's own data indicates that 83% of the people that they've killed are civilians.
Because they hide behind them. If Hamas had a nuclear weapon, how many seconds would it take before they used it on Israel?
I have no idea. Centuries ago.
You're calling them colonizers. They're not colonizers.
They're expanding, and they're annexing land. That's what colonizers do.
It's relevant.
You can't wipe out innocent people because you used to live there centuries ago.
This clip is taken from the Club Random podcast. What you are about to watch is one of the most intense and unfiltered political debates you will ever see on a casual podcast setting. Bill Maher thought this was going to be a relaxed conversation. Anna Kasparian had other plans. Just watch what happens.
I know you're going to say genocide, and I'm going to say, well, you don't know what the word means. And it's like, if you don't even know what the words mean.
I'm Armenian. I know what the word means.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, it's when you try to wipe out an entire population of people, which they didn't come close to doing.
I mean,
they prosecuted a war in which they were attacked, which everybody gets to do.
Which, by the way, let me just say, if they were literally going after Hamas, that is legitimate. That's totally legitimate. But that's not what's happening.
Hamas hides in tunnels underneath hospitals. You can't go in.
Hold on.
Hamas is the bad guy. If you don't get that, Hamas, you don't get much.
What Hamas did on October 7th was disgusting. Killing. I mean, I don't at all hold back on that. In fact,
that's the easiest thing in the world to say.
I mean,
nobody disagrees.
I agree. Nobody
disagrees.
There are people who disagree, actually.
Raping baby. Yes, there are.
There are people who think I'm wrong because Hamas, they're freedom fighters. What kind of freedom are we talking about here?
That people see Hamas, the people who hate oppression so much, are on the side of the people. And it's not just Hamas. If you social justice warriors, if you have any other issue besides gender apartheid in the world that is above that, you're just a joke. That if you hate oppression, there is one issue which should be above all because it affects more people, hundreds of millions of women who have basically no freedom in the Muslim world.
Right. So we should slaughter them instead, which is what's been happening.
Well, you should prosecute a war to the end. That does involve slaughter of every war.
I think. Listen, civilians get killed in wars. I think everyone knows that. Everyone acknowledges that.
Especially when you hide behind them.
But when 83%, according to the IDF's own data. And this is reported, by the way, I consume Israeli media on this. I don't consume American media on this. And Israeli media is super honest, way more honest than our media is. So when the IDF's own data indicates that 83% of the people that they've killed are civilians.
Because they hide behind them.
Notice what just happened. Anna came prepared with actual data and statistics, not opinions, not talking points, hard numbers that even Bill could not dispute. And what did Bill do the moment those numbers hit the table? He changed the subject. That is not how confident people argue. That is how cornered people argue. Watch what comes next.
But Bill, do you understand that by killing so many civilians, they are essentially multiplying extremism?
I do understand that. Do you understand that there's very often in the world two very bad choices, and you only...
I mean, I'm an American. I have to vote in presidential elections. Yes, I do know that.
Okay, you don't have the good choice. You have the bad choice and the even worse choice. Israel has been being attacked by Hamas. First of all, the entire Arab world rejected them for 75 years. They kept trying to make a deal. They kept saying, no, we want it all. That's what from the river to the sea means. It means we want it all. We don't want a compromise. They've never wanted a compromise. Israel gave Gaza back.
But did they?
It back.
But Bill,
in
let's say our country was occupied by Mexico, right? We have a bunch of people who are occupying our land. And then they decide, you know what, we're going to leave.
Hold on, let me finish. They weren't occupying
Let me finish. Let's say Mexico decides, you know what, we're going to leave, but we're going to control their electricity, what goes in, what comes out.
Because they were attacking
We're going to mow the lawn and just like randomly decide we're going to slaughter people because they allegedly threw rocks. They have literally nuclear...
Well, they didn't allegedly.
I mean, Israel has nuclear weapons, Bill. They have nuclear weapons.
And they don't... And that's,
they have the world's military superpower backing them.
Right. Well, they have nuclear weapons which they don't use. If Hamas
No,
had
no,
a-
they don't use it. But
just-
to pretend
if
like
if Hamas had a nuclear weapon, how many seconds would it take before they used it on Israel?
I have no idea.
3. Three's the answer. 3 seconds.
How do you know that, Bill? Come on.
Because it's in their charter.
If they used a nuclear weapon against Israel, I'm pretty sure
Well,
the very land that
okay.
Hamas cares about
Yes.
would be done for.
Okay,
They'd be done
then
for.
they would be martyrs, and that would be a good thing, because that's their death cult view of the world. It's a good thing when you die. That's why they strap suicide vests sometimes on children. The fact that you can't see the moral difference between these two sides always amazes me among people.
I actually don't see the moral difference when you have like Bezalel Smotrich and Ben Gvir literally talking about exterminating the entire population of Gaza.
Okay, they're
mean,
not talking about...
And these are not, they are. I mean, the statements are brazen, they're upfront, they're honest. This is what they actually want to do.
Well,
I mean, the West Bank
considering
is
it's
another example.
It's in Hamas.
The West Bank had nothing to do with
But
what
that's-
happened on October 7th, but they're annexing that land anyway. They're raining terror on innocent people, innocent Palestinians. They're driving them out of their homes. Like, listen, I am willing to admit, because it's the truth, that what Hamas did on October 7th was a fucking atrocity.
Oh, wow.
Killing innocent
Who
people.
couldn't admit that?
But you have a difficult time at least acknowledging the atrocities that have been committed against innocent civilians in Gaza.
Well, it depends on what you call an atrocity. All wars are going to have
A
atrocities.
double tap on a hospital?
All war...
A double tap on a hospital? So
I don't
when
know.
the first
First of all,
responders
I
show
don't know,
up?
I don't know exactly what you're talking about. I vaguely remember the thing.
Right.
Yeah. First of all, that's an old terrorist trick. That's what they do all the time.
Okay, but are you at least going to acknowledge that the IDF doing that was wrong?
Yeah, I'm sure they have committed what we would call war crimes, as every army does in every war.
This is the moment that exposes everything. Anna is talking about civilian casualties with documented statistics, and Bill responds by comparing it to the Civil War. Think about that for a second. When you cannot counter the numbers in front of you, you reach back 160 years for a different war entirely. Anna did not let him get away with it, and that is exactly why this clip is going viral. Keep watching.
Yeah, I'm sure they have committed what we would call war crimes, as every army does in every war.
Right, including our own, right?
In every
Right.
war, including the Civil War. I forget who it was who made the good point. Like, during the Civil War, a lot of people would say, especially in the South, that Sherman did not have to burn Atlanta quite as badly as he did. I mean, we were pretty brutal. But would you also then just say, well, we don't know who the good guys were in that war? No, I think it was the North. I think that they committed the atrocity in Atlanta. Yeah, that's true. They burned when they shouldn't, and they were very rough on the South. They were still the good guys. They were fighting against slavery, as Israel is fighting to survive. And also, you know, they are the front line in the Western world.
I totally disagree with you on this entirely. I think much of the problems we have in the Middle East is due to the enabling of this Look, it's an expansionist policy. If Israel wasn't trying to continue expanding in the Middle East,
so
I don't think they would be dealing with the enmity, like the enemies that they're dealing with.
They've never been asked. They've never been trying to expand.
They're trying to annex the West Bank right now, and Lebanon, southern Lebanon, and Syria, which they've succeeded in.
These are all places that they were attacked from. When they became a country in 1947, they said, "Okay, we will accept half a loaf." They had as much right to that land as anybody. There was a continual presence there since 1000 BC, when King David had a kingdom.
I don't care about that at all.
Okay, but it's relevant.
But you can't.
It's relevant to people. It's relevant
to wipe out innocent people because you used to live there like centuries ago.
You're calling them colonizers. They're not colonizers.
They're expanding and they're annexing land. That's what colonizers do.
What you just watched was not just a debate. It was a masterclass in holding your ground when someone with a bigger platform tries to talk over you, redirect you, and put words in your mouth. Bill Maher knows every trick in the book. Redirect the topic. Question your credentials. make you defend a position you never actually took, and Anna Kasparian saw through every single one of them in real time. When Anna brought up actual statistics, Bill did not dispute them. He could not. He pivoted immediately to hypotheticals and historical comparisons that had nothing to do with the facts sitting right in front of him. Anna refused to follow him there every single time, and that is exactly what made this moment impossible to ignore. The most revealing part is when Bill finally admits that war crimes have been committed. Anna did not let him whisper that and move on. She held him to it. Because that is what honest debate actually looks like. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I genuinely want to know which argument you found most convincing. And if this kind of raw, unscripted content is what you have been looking for, subscribe, because there is a lot more coming.